Okay, you guys are live.
Go first?
Yeah.
Hello. So, hello to all the people in the room. If you're at home in your branch, you don't know what you're missing, so you should have come. So you can come next time, though. So I'm Billy Parrott. We also have.
Kasia Kowalska, Jill Rothstein, Christy Raffensperger.
So we're going to talk about the newest third round of innovation funding that hopefully you saw the email that went out. Was it Friday?
Yes.
Yes. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of the project, show the website. Christy will talk about some past projects, her past project. So yeah, as far as the history, in March of 2013, as far as people in the room, who was at the library at that time? To see an idea of new people. Okay. Wow. So in March of 2013, there was a staff survey, surveying all staff on engagement. And one of the questions was, do you feel the library supports your ideas? And the results were rather telling. So the library immediately set about to address that idea, that problem, or that issue. So they put together a project that would specifically address staff ideas. And the innovation project was born. So it's been about 3 years. We've had this is the third round of funding. And it's, I think, progressively improved each year. I'll let you be the judge of that, though. With that, I will jump over to Jill. We'll all probably jump in and interrupt and everything in comments, but this is very conversational.
Okay. So this is the third round. We've been getting staff feedback every round. We're kind of a little ragtag group of people from all different branches and departments who are making this happen, as well as some senior leadership. But we're taking your feedback, and so some things that are new this round are longer training, mentors, more support, a workshopping period, and a longer amount of time to finish the project. So I'm going to take you through the steps now. We're going to go to the website we have, which is innovation.nypl.org. This just went live on Friday. You guys might have gotten little light bulbs full of candy and a very mysterious scroll sent to you as our announcement this year. And flyers, some went out already and some are coming, a flyer for every person at the library with some very concrete and non-mysterious information. The main website is innovation.nypl.org. It's up here. And we're in the About section. And we're going to go to Rules, just to help outline what we're doing and what the timeline is. So the Innovation Project is a place, it's basically a grant competition where everyone who works for NYPL at any level can submit an idea for funding to try out a new and innovative project. Every person gets one idea to submit under their own name. You can be a partner or a friend or a collaborator on any others. There's no limit to the amount of ideas that can be submitted by a department or branch, but just try to be practical, because what if they all win? How are you going to actually accomplish them all? Or maybe you can, because you have like complete energy all the time. Where we've started our preliminary submission phase, you can fill out the form under Submit and give us your basic idea. Everyone who does that will be assigned someone in the core team to help them flesh out the idea. Make sure it immediately gets greenlit from all of the kind of major departments such as legal, HR, purchasing, or IT that might have to sign off on it on a kind of higher level. And we'll help you work through the idea to be ready for the final submission proposal. So that was the beginning form. That's open from now through October 15th to get your preliminary submission in and start the workshopping phase. From then through October 30th is when you have time to work on the final proposal. You can find that as a template in the rules and FAQs as a Google Doc. It's view only, and the idea is that you copy that template to your own Google Doc and you fill it out with a full proposal and share it with the innovation team. We have one email address, which is innovation@nypl.org. And then starting in November 7th through 28th, these ideas are open and viewable by all staff as anonymous submissions, and all staff get to vote on their top, what is it, like 5 Top 5 ideas. So viewed anonymously just as ideas, all staff have their input. What would they like to see made reality? The votes with the top 5 votes, the top 5 ideas with the most votes automatically win. And then we're funding other ideas as well with input both from staff voting as well as the core team. And for the most expensive categories from some senior management. Could you take over?
Actually, let me just address one thing. So one thing that's new this year, actually, compared to last year, when you go to submit, you will see we have this guidance here, choose the right pathway. So one difference from last year is that we now have programming funds for children's programs for each branch. So last year we got some, really small requests, surprisingly small, for like $200 to do this or that type of a program. So these types, very minor requests for programs relating to kids or early literacy, the first thing to do is to really talk to the branch manager about using those discretionary funds. Because if it's a small program, especially if it's not really innovative, it's something that has been done at a different branch, most likely it will not get funding. So that's the first step. Second, we also know, and last year we got some submissions in this category, sometimes people are like, well, this is cool, there's innovation grants. Well, I have an idea, not quite for me, but it would be a great thing for the library in general. Someone should carry it out. Or I know there's a problem at the library and I really wish someone addressed that. So for that, we actually have innovation community suggestions for the next round of innovation communities. And there's a different form for that, which is basically, let me just click on that one. Sorry, this is the innovation communities. You have a link to the innovation communities Google+, and there's the form. So as you will see, this is if you have an idea for a testable solution to a problem that you're aware of. And the testable solution is because over a period of 3 to 6 months, a cross-functional team from the library would be trying to see if there is a solution that can be found to the problem that you've identified. So then you are using this form, which is basically about what problem does your idea address and how might the solution work. You don't actually have to have a ready solution, but signal the problem you would like to get solved.
So this year, if you guys were aware of, there were 3 innovation communities, one that really focused on floating, one that focused on a different way of doing holds better, and other collections related ones. So that's the kind of thing that's system-wide that would go to innovation communities. And the innovation project, even though it sounds really similar, is for things that you yourself want to carry out.
Right. If what stands between you and a really cool project is some cash and some support from central departments, but you will be responsible for carrying it out, then you use this submission form and you go to the innovation project. So this is the third path, but this is basically the path most people participating in this round will take. And then you will see the light bulb.
So the other portion of the main website, innovation.nymdale.org, is FAQs. You'll find things there like, what do you mean by innovative? Does my idea count as innovative? Things like, how can I give my idea the best chance? What are some things that would not be appropriate to do? And do I need approval from my manager? That's a big question. And we have that very nicely worded on our website. Yes, you need your manager to be on board. We want you guys to work as a team, and everyone's probably going to need to chip in some way to allow you to do this whole extra project in addition to your regular job. There are pathways if you guys, either you or your manager, have questions about how this could work or how you would proceed with it. We're always here for you to reach out to discuss it. And your AD or your manager can also maybe help answer questions as well.
And I would say for anyone who's listening, we really want to encourage people to err on the side, at this point, to err on the side of, I am not sure yet how this would work out, but I want to submit it. We will help you work this out. So each of the people who agreed to be part of the team this year actually took on, solemnly swore that they will support, that they would support at least 10 to 15 submitters, meaning we do plan on getting in touch with every single person who submits. So if you send us even just, a sketch of an idea, we'll get back to you and help you, figure out what it could mean. If you are not sure whether this could work at your branch because you may not have, the manager's approval, we can work with the AD and see, is this something that maybe could be done somewhere else? Your branch may not have the capacity to support this. But maybe there's someone else who would actually like to try that out. There are many ways of, at this point we can be creative. At this point we still have time to figure out if there are alternatives. So this is the phase where people, you should feel over-optimistic because hopefully it can work, right? And hope we're here to support that.
You never know, there might be a partner who also wants to do it at another branch who can take on half the work or something like that.
That's what the group I think will do. Is like as far as the mentoring part of it, well, everything from like spitballing ideas to walking you step by step through Workday. So like the help part is.
And Billy has done a fair share of that.
Some people are concerned that they might have their idea rejected and not know why. We're going to be very, very clear this year. The whole team is going to meet and try as best as we can to make every idea workable before we say, okay, for some reason this really can't work. And we'll be very clear and be in touch and see if there's a way that we can tweak it so that it could work. Yeah.
Question?
What if your idea involves another department?
Great question. Thank you. Just in case that wasn't heard, the question was, what if your idea involves another department? If it involves another department and you as well, then please reach out to them and see if you can find someone in that department who would like to work with you on this. If you're not sure who to reach out to, you can reach out to us and we will try to help you find the right person. Yeah.
And if your idea involves only another department, we got a few last year. You actually should use the Innovation Communities form, which may be a little, because if you're not the person carrying it out, it's not an innovation project, right? Innovation project is a grant for you to carry a project. However, it may signal, a need that someone else could take the ownership of, or we could think of ways to test that need or a solution for it. So use the Innovation Community form then.
I was going to say, one other part of the website really quick is on the marketplace where you can see all of the first 2 rounds, all the submissions, not just the ones that were funded, but everything. And I believe it's searchable.
Yes, it
so
is.
like you could type in the word app or the word digitization or the word garden to see what other ideas were out there. It might even have the contact, the person who submitted it. So again,
yes,
you can contact them and say, hey,
yes.
I saw you submit an idea. I was thinking of something similar. Do you want to work on it? So
those
there's
are
lots
the
of opportunities to
digitization
kind
projects
of work
last year.
with your colleagues.
And if you want to find out more about what happened to the ideas you voted for and won in the past 2 years, there's the Google Plus page, which is on the screen now, which has updates about the process and the final outcome of those projects. And you can read more about how they worked, what people had to do to make it work, and see some nice inspiring outcomes.
Calculator lending, digitization of local newspapers and programming around that. The mobile reading room.
Segue.
Christy.
So I'm a children's librarian at Hudson Park. So I'm one of the people on the committee that is actually a frontline staff member in the trenches. And my project that won last year was a wind tunnel. And for those of you who don't know what a wind tunnel is, people, I think maybe when they were voting, were thinking it was one of those like things that you climb in and like things fly around and stuff. There's no human beings, not to say kids haven't tried, but that go in my wind tunnel. But it's a tunnel and has a fan at the bottom pointing up, and kids put something in the bottom and then see it shoot out. There's a lot of them at different museums, science museums and things. But I wanted one for my library, and so I submitted an idea, and it was $2,000, so it was right on the limit of last year. This year is $3,000 for the lower category. And we got a wind tunnel, and we used it, I used it a lot with class visits to talk about, we had a program where we invited the Audubon Society. It was a first-time partnership with that organization in NYPL. And they came and talked about wingspans and migration, and then the kids made their own birds with different wingspans and put them in the wind tunnel. We've done a Jack and the Beanstalk program where we read Jack and the Beanstalk, and then we have a little pipe cleaner man that I give to every kid, and they have to try to figure out how to get him highest up the beanstalk, which is hanging behind the wind tunnel. So they do like parachutes and other things like that. So it's been really fun. It definitely helps me be excited about programming because at the branches you can sometimes get in a rut of doing the same thing over and over again. And I've never thought of wind as an inspiration for a program. So there's been lots of different things that we've used it for. Sometimes we put titles of books on pieces of paper and just put them in the wind tunnel. Whatever you grab, you have to read that book. So, you know, and that was a kid that thought of that. So, and sometimes kids bring stuff from home to test it in the wind tunnel the next time they come to see if it'll fly. So it's been really fun. And Pamela has a project too.
I'm tall, so I don't want to block you. So my project last year was
Perfect.
the Tinker Tank. So basically this was like a mobile STEAM STEM related makerspace, which included a smart TV, a lockbox in the bottom, and different things that kids could use for STEM and STEAM activities. So one of the things that we did was a pizza and paint night, kind of like adults where you have wine, instead they got pizza. And they used regular acrylic paint on canvas. Some also used thermochromatic paint, which is a pigment that you put in paint or a mixture, and it will change based on the temperature of, you know, whatever is in contact with the surface. So they were able to paint some pictures on the canvas, and when you touch them, they turn different colors and make an outline of another picture and things like that. I also had a senior class visit from a school down here in Manhattan, the Trevor Day School, and they constructed a kind of newspaper or paper dress for Banned Books Week that featured the covers of a lot of banned books, and they used the tank to look up different ways to fold paper to make kind of like a bustle in the back and the undercoat underneath of the dress and everything like that. So it's really been great to make kids excited about science and constructing things and being creative. Really lends itself to endless opportunities for kids to come in, get excited about the library, be creative, see all the things on the tank and watch a tutorial easily and kind of go off of that and find their own direction for things that involve science, math, architecture, all those types of things. We also did a bird feeder with the thermochromatic pigment. So we actually put them right outside of our library, and you can watch the birds like kind of step on the feeder and watch their little footsteps change color because of the pigment. And we also do an escape the room game with a lot of materials that we purchased from the innovation project. These books, Perplexers, they come from math, science, all different categories, and include educational riddles and puzzles that are made to increase the comprehension level of kids through different age ranges. So I use those in combination with a number of other things to kind of make an escape the room where kids have to solve educational puzzles to escape, and they're learning and participating and collaborating and doing all those good things at once.
Questions?
So we've got like 5 minutes left, so
These were a couple of awesome examples from branches. We do have some awesome projects that were submitted for cataloging or staff development, other behind the scenes
research
things,
libraries.
research, and we really encourage all kinds.
So some people that work here don't have that kind of involvement with the public. And so I was thinking, has there ever been like projects that have been funded for staff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's been two actually. Jill, wait, one more. Sorry, four. As a matter of fact, sorry. Now back to going for.
I did mine for the 2 years ago, the original round. That actually would probably not be considered appropriate for this project today, but I did the Take Your Senior Management to Work Day project, which was about connecting the chiefs with frontline staff.
It
was
had
also
no
the
budget. That
It
was the
received the
question.
most votes,
It was
but
most
it also didn't need any budget.
Right, there's no budget, it just needed support. And then someone this past year did a, forgot what it was called, but basically, staff shadowing day where Pages and other frontline staff, was it only Pages?
It's no. So staff shadowing was Janine from Mudhaven submitted that one, and it's actually it's going to start happening now. But the idea was to allow staff who are interested in maybe, investigating another career at the library to shadow a person in that department. So HR is going to get someone. Strategic research and analytics is getting someone. But there were a lot of actually people who wanted to shadow, let's say, a children's librarian or a YA librarian. Or actually a branch manager to see what it's like to, to manage a branch when you go basically for, essentially you spend half a day for a week. That's the span of that one.
One of the examples that I gave in the first 2 rounds was like if you were in facilities and you wanted to 3D print something that tied trash bags better, you're eligible to submit the idea. So it's kind of like anybody can submit ideas. It's just most of the ones you're getting are kind of programming public ideas.
But that might change this year since so many of those would go towards the new branch discretionary funds where they can fund children's programming themselves.
So
we had someone submit for a new way of streamlining cataloging and attacking this kind of archetype of backlog of uncatalogued.
But also in addition, when Jill submitted her project, it got the most staff votes. And SMG and other management saw this, and then this has paved the way for more direct meetings with senior management among different regions and different, centers. So just because you submit a project, if it doesn't come to fruition, that doesn't mean that your innovative idea won't be carried through in a different direction. So never be scared to submit an idea because it can go through a different pathway that actually makes it better and more visible to even more staff.
I would say the question is, you may have a project. How do we make the library a better place, right? How can we improve our processes? How can we improve our service for our users? If you have an idea and you need some money to either test it or to bring it to life, of course, submit it. There are many, we're essentially looking at ideas that help the library achieve its mission and that are aligned with institutional priorities. Among those priorities are, for example, financial sustainability, right? So if you have anything that, can be tested or sometimes you need much more money than, $3,000 or $10,000, but you should really use this process.
Is it to go back to what you were saying before, is it too late to sign up for the shadowing thing?
So the shadowing thing was, yes, it is because it has started. The shadowing thing was in the Bronx networks.
Oh, so I worked on 40 seconds, so I wouldn't have heard of it.
No.
So,
but
Pat was saying, these are pilots, so
exactly.
Things that work out really well might be scaled up and become part of the library institution as a whole.
So a big thing for us is, for example, and this is where, I come in among others, and Lisa who's sitting here, and the rest of that department. We want to see what the outcomes are, right? Partly to communicate with the funders because the Refson Foundation founded last year's and this year's round. So we want to say, so many people participated in these programs. I mean, the exploration stations, which was another, really cool idea, have attendance of about 1,000 people per month because, it's light touch. It's not fully programmed, but some kids spend an hour or 2 hours, at that exploration station, playing with, but also learning about magnets, right? And checking out the book at the same time. So we want to track attendance of programs. We want to see what other effects we had to the extent possible. So when the program is about, let's say, training, we would run a survey and see how effective that was. So there will be a follow-up actually for the staff shadowing. And we will work with HR to see, to what extent that is something that we might be interested in doing, on a more frequent basis.
So again, innovation.nrfl.org, you have all the rules, FAQs, sample form or sample proposals, and all forms. If you guys are even thinking about it, I encourage you to you just shoot us an email to say, how do I make this like more fleshed out, or just submit it. And
If you have any questions, email us. Check the website. There's tons of information there. But if you can't find it, innovation, you want to fill out a little.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.